It's the dirty little secret no one likes to talk about. Each year, over 200,000 American women will confront breast cancer for the first time. And of those women undergoing treatment, up to 20% will face the physical and emotional distress of lymphedema. If you've never heard of lymphedema, you're not alone. The debilitating pain, disfiguring swelling, anguish, and suffering it inflicts presents real challenges. Women who develop lymphedema face a lifetime of treatment and large-scale medical bills, often without hope of long-term improvement. Yet today, thanks to advances in early assessment and intervention, for many women, lymphedema can be avoided. The good news for breast cancer patients confronting lymphedema can be summed up in 3 simple words. Now, there's hope. Today we have with us Dr. Lisa Curcio, a breast surgeon from Mission Viejo, California. Now, Dr. Curcio, you see breast cancer patients every single day. Tell us how big a problem lymphedema is following breast cancer surgery.
Oftentimes, it's completely asymptomatic. There's just some swelling of the arm, and it's really not noticed until they put on a piece of clothing that perhaps feels a little bit tight on that side compared to the other side. Early on in the history of lymphedema, all of the changes are reversible, but like a lot of disease processes, over time the changes become chronic and not necessarily reversible.
What are the challenges of detecting and treating lymphedema today?
Well, in the past, it was very hard to diagnose it at an early stage. It was only when the patient came in and on examination, it was very obvious that one arm was bigger than the other. But now we have bioimpedance spectroscopy that allows us to be able to tell if there's more water or fluid in that arm compared to the other arm that has not been operated on.
So with the new bioimpedance technology, there is hope.
There is hope, and just like with any other disease, early detection is going to be crucial in long-term preventing a chronic condition like lymphedema.
Let's talk with someone who is living with lymphedema every day. Arngard, you were diagnosed with breast cancer in 2009. What was your course of treatment?
I have had a mastectomy of my right breast with partial lymph node removal. I have had some 5 months of chemotherapy and some 40 radiation treatments.
How did you learn that you were developing lymphedema?
I love to travel. On my last trip that brought me to India and Nepal, I noticed I had a swelling in my elbow area, and so I went back to see the doctor and we measured.
How has lymphedema impacted your life?
I have restricted my love of gardening. I do not paint much anymore. I don't do as much housework, or I use my left arm to do that.
What would you tell other women about lymphedema who are facing surgery and or radiation treatment for breast cancer?
While many women will think they're in this perfect storm with these dark clouds looming over them any moment ready to burst, rather than waiting out that storm, it is more renewing and uplifting if you learn how to dance in the rain.
Today we have with us an occupational therapist who specializes in working with lymphedema patients. Hey Karen, welcome.
Hello.
What is the physical and emotional impact of lymphedema on your patients?
For many, express a feeling of being doctored out. And so they say, I'm tired at this point. Some may express that this was unexpected to me, even though I've heard it in the background. I didn't really expect it, and I'm a bit scared right now. And others may say, this is going to change my lifestyle, and am I ready for that?
Now, are there new technologies that offer hope in managing lymphedema?
Yes, there's actually bioimpedance spectroscopy, and it's been a valuable tool in our office. I really find that it enables us to kind of intervene at a very special point if we see a significant change in the scores or numbers. That is alerting us that something is going on. And that active point of intervention actually becomes very critical.
What would you tell women about lymphedema who are facing surgery and/or radiation therapy for breast cancer?
First thought would be knowledge is power. I think knowing about the condition, the awareness of what to look for, catching things early so you know that you can do something about it, and learning the tools so that you know you can manage it. And then you see an inner strength come out. They're able to lead very productive lives.
One of the most difficult aspects of breast cancer is navigating the maze of treatment providers, from breast surgeons to radiation oncologists, to hospitals, to medical oncologists, to physical therapists, and all the insurance challenges in between. We have with us a nurse who specializes in helping breast cancer patients through this treatment maze. Chrissy, welcome.
Thank you.
Do you see many patients with lymphedema?
I definitely see a fair number of patients with lymphedema.
Now, is it difficult for your patients to accept this new reality in their lives?
I think most patients, after they go through so much with their breast cancer care, they want to be done with it. They want to close that chapter in their life and move on. So with lymphedema coming up, sometimes even years later, it's very difficult. It really poses a lot of challenges for patients.
What is the emotional impact of lymphedema on your patients?
Our patients have been through a lot. They've been through surgery, radiation, sometimes chemotherapy, and the whole journey and roller coaster is taxing in itself. So then to add lymphedema on at the end of this is incredibly difficult. With new technology, we are able to detect lymphedema in its earliest stages where it's very treatable and can be maintained to where it's not making a huge impact in patients' lives.
Next, we have one of the lucky patients who was able to avoid full-blown lymphedema. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Can you tell us about your breast cancer and the treatment you selected?
Well, my breast cancer was stage 3. I chose to have a bilateral mastectomy first, and then we proceeded with 6 months of chemotherapy.
So your doctor suggested a bioimpedance spectroscopy test prior to your surgery, is that correct?
She did, yes.
And what does that entail?
Very simple, monitor you for a couple minutes to get a baseline.
So you have never been diagnosed with lymphedema then?
I've never been diagnosed with lymphedema. You know, I've been very proactive. I got right in and I started doing therapy. I was fitted for a compression stocking and a glove for when I fly or go up to high altitude.
What's the outlook for your future?
I see good things in the future and treatments that are available now that weren't available 10 years ago.
Right.
It's amazing how far we've come. So I thank God every day that, I know this is crazy, but that I was diagnosed now and not 15 years ago.
What would you tell women about lymphedema who are facing surgery and or radiation for breast cancer?
It's very important to get the bioimpedance test. Otherwise, you don't really know if lymphedema is coming on until it's too late. So what you want to do is keep it at bay, and that test is amazing.
Thanks to the efforts of concerned doctors, nurses, and breast cancer patients like the ones we've met today, the LymphConnect community is spreading the good news. Breast cancer survivors can enjoy a better quality of life by minimizing the risks of lymphedema. It just takes accurate information, early detection, and positive action. So if you've been diagnosed with breast cancer, take that first crucial step and let your doctor know in no uncertain terms that lymphedema is a secret you'd rather live without.